Hey everyone, welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to be here as always. The confirmation hearings for Trump's picks are heating up, and I don't personally care much for that dog and pony show. Who is going to get confirmed is going to get confirmed, and very little shifts unless there's a major scandal or something like that. And personally speaking, I think some of the picks are good. Some of the picks are terrible, like Pam Bondi, for instance. But really, what I care about is when the Second Amendment is implicated. And during the questioning of Kash Patel, the Second Amendment was implicated. And I wanted to show you what was said, basically, and get your take on whether you think he did a good job or not. That after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by the Modern Gun School. This is an accredited online university that can help you gain an educational background in firearms. Their program can be used to expand your horizons or to gain a degree in your spare time if that's what you're looking for. MGS's tuition is designed to meet the operating requirements of the school and thus is very competitively priced. It pretty much blows the competition completely out of the water, and you're not going to burn through your entire GI Bill or end up radically in debt because of this program. Among their stated goals is to put their students first by ensuring that after completing their program, a student still has financial options available to pursue other higher education opportunities that you might need if you're going to be successful out there. So go check them out at Modern Gun School and let them know that I sent you.
Do you believe that background checks for firearm purchases are constitutional?
I don't know the in-depths of it, but I think that's what the Supreme Court has said, Senator.
So the word would be YES, yes. Can you say yes, are background checks constitutional?
I can say whatever the Constitution and the Supreme Court ruled is the rule of the land.
And what is the law of the land at the moment?
I'm not an expert on state-by-state background checks.
You're going to be universal background checks. Well,
that's different.
I think actually your answer is pretty telling. Let me ask you another question. Do you believe that civilian ownership of machine guns are protected by the Second Amendment?
Universal background checks are different. That's not what
I
I
asked you a
say.
separate question. Do you believe civilian ownership of machine guns is protected by the Second Amendment?
Whatever the courts rule in regards to the Second Amendment is what is protected by the Second Amendment.
Yet another telling response, colleagues, on another important issue. We've all talked, both sides of the aisle, about our concern about gun violence in America. I raise these questions because of an association I can observe between Mr. Patel and Gun Owners of America, a group staunchly opposed to firearm regulation, a group that Mr. Patel addressed in August, and a group that in December issued a press release applauding his nomination to be FBI director. Gun Owners of America has taken extreme positions, including the position that all background checks are unconstitutional and that civilian ownership of machine guns is protected under the Second Amendment. Mr. Patel, let me remind you that as FBI director, you would oversee critical responsibilities related to firearm regulation, including administering the National Instant Criminal Background Check System. Yes, it's constitutional. It's in place for a reason. You would also regulate the distribution of machine guns to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. Policies and programs in place for a reason. And given your hesitancy, given your answers, I'm concerned about your ability to do the job when it's not in alignment with groups like Gun Owners of America.
For the record, I think that it is great that Kash Patel is in league with the Gun Owners of America. The Gun Owners of America are some of my favorite people to hang out with. There were really three questions there. One of them was on background checks at state levels. The implied question was universal background checks. And then the third was the machine gun question. So the senator that was asking the questions, I don't recognize this person. I know that they're an anti-gun hack. That's all I really care about, and they should go away. But I guess what I would say is when it comes to the background check thing, I'm going to say that background checks are absolutely unconstitutional. To his point, they were passed for a reason. But just because they were passed for a reason does not mean that they are constitutional. These are two mutually exclusive things, and they do not equal one another. So you can argue that they were done for a reason and that they may be effective at accomplishing those reasons. I don't know if they are or not. The data, wishy-washy on that one, to be completely honest. So I think the senator is either somewhat confused or conflating one with the other. They do not hunt together. Just because they are the law of the land does not mean that that law is constitutional. And I would like to see that challenged. That said, when it comes to universal background checks, they are, again, absolutely unconstitutional. There is evidence in the text, history, and tradition of the United States that shows that even before the United States existed, that you could transfer weapons to people without a background check. Remember that background checks, the NIC system, came about in the 1990s. We made it all of that time where you could just order guns out of the Sears catalog. I mean, literally, my dad did that. I never did that. That didn't exist by the time I came around to purchasing weapons. But there are weapons in my parents' home that were ordered out of a catalog with no background check. So I will say that we have made it that far without it. Now, when it comes to the machine guns, does the Second Amendment protect the right of the people to be armed with machine guns? Yes, it does. The machine gun prohibition is unconstitutional. It should not be in there. It was packed into an otherwise pretty good bill in the 1980s, but that was packed in there by a radical Democrat. And it was one of those things like, well, we really like some of the things that are in here and we're willing to deal with that thing. So we got sold up the river. So the prohibition on new manufactured machine guns being available to the market needs to go away a long time ago. That said, I understand that, Mr. Patel has to walk the line during the confirmation hearing, so I understand why some of his answers would be somewhat muted, but to be honest, I think he should have gone for all the marbles and just said, yeah, totally protected by the Constitution, and yeah, totally unconstitutional, even though it's currently the law of the land. Anyway, I'd like to know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Thanks for tuning in. And if I don't see you, happy weekend, everybody, if you do that sort of thing.